From your days as a SUG vice president in UNICAL to now becoming the women leader of the All Progressives Congress, talk to us. How did you rise through the ranks? What were the challenges you faced as a young lady?
Well, I think it's been a journey of grace and God's help, and most importantly, hard work, because it's not been easy rising amongst men and rising in a society where people are more of the opinion that leadership should be by older people. And so it's difficult for them to understand that it shouldn't be about age or about your gender, but on merit, the capacity, what do you bring to the table? So back from school days where I used to be a prefect in the secondary school, and then of course up onto the university where I was in the parliament, the student union government parliament, and then to the student union government vice president. Um, it was a lot of work encouraging women, working with women, and trying to sensitize them on the need for them to get actively involved in politics, in leadership, in contributing their own quota to nation development. Like I always said right from those days, leadership begins with you. It begins from the point where you are. What are you doing to solve a problem where you are? No matter how small that problem is, you must be doing something to solve a problem. That way you become more relevant. That way you become more needed by society and you grow. And God has helped me to grow this far. From there, of course, to being a special advisor on community health to the governor of Cross River State, Governor Betta Edu, and then a director general, the first director general of the Cross River State Primary Healthcare Development Agency, an agency which we had to take from the legislative cradle all the way to where it is today. And finally, the Commissioner for Health in Cross River State, and of course, the chairman of all the health commissioners in Nigeria, as well as a member of the Presidential Health Reform Committee before getting fully neck deep into the national politics as the APC national woman leader. Of course, it's not, it was not an easy journey. And for a young person, remember the political space is not so used to having young people at that level. And so at first, it's met with some, let's say, opposition or restraint, but I'm very, very pleased at the way everyone has embraced this new move and they are even leveraging on it to attract more young people and more women, especially professional women, into politics.
It's very significant that you've spoken about your CV in just a few sentences, which is very impressive. But you know, as a woman going into politics, it is ironic that you still have to contend with men before you even be able to, even to mobilize the women. Tell us what were the knocks you had along the way as you tried to find your own as a politician.
Well, I think understanding the different roles that the various gender bring to the table and trying to respect and accommodate and then create the right narrative that it's not a competition, but a complementary role working together to build the nation and to build whatever it is you're into has helped me grow thus far. It's more like a patriarchal system where more men are in leadership positions and then women are stereotyped once there is any single error of a woman who is in leadership. They say, oh, that's the way women are, that's the way they behave. It's a woman and a woman thing, and the rest of it. These are things we've had to really go headlong against to say, no, women deserve a seat at the table. Women should be mainstreamed. And it's important that women are taking on their merits rather than being judged as being a woman and so not able to participate in leadership. But I think the men, we've had some good he for she's along my journey of growth, one of which is the governor of Cross River State, Senator Professor Ben Ayade, and of course his dear wife is she for she, the deputy governor. they've been very, very, very encouraging to leadership of women in our state. And of course, my growth as a young person in an environment where it's mostly dominated by older persons and probably men, of course.
But I was wishing that you could give us personal anecdotes about some of the experiences you had and how you went through them so that people can get a real appreciation. You standing there looking prim and pretty and all of that makes it look as if it's just an easy thing. You must have had some knocks. You must have gone to bed angry. You must have had some exchanges. You must have had some people talk down at you. So I had some people look at you sexually and so on. And give us a sense of the dynamic of a woman like you rising up and getting above it. I mean, the road must have been dirty sometimes.
I think it's been a very rough ride growing to this point, a very, very rough ride, especially when you have core values which you must not break, and you have covenant with God spiritually, which you don't want to go against, and you have your own beliefs and your upbringing, and so it's very, very difficult. I remember very clearly when I was running for the vice presidential seat of the student union government. And I was told, oh, you need to sleep with this person, you need to sleep with that person. I remember walking into a meeting and he told me, said, if you don't sleep with me, you will never become the vice president of the student union government of University of Calabar. And I just stood up. I said, well, maybe my journey ends here today. And I stood up and I left that meeting. But of course, that was not the determinant on whether I become the student union government vice president or not. What was the determinant was the merit and the value which I was bringing to the table. We've had several other situations where you walk into a room and they say, oh, are you the one? Are you the commissioner? Are you the DG? Are you the chairman of all the commissioners of health? Oh, you're too young. How did you get there? Who appointed you? And you hear statements like that. And of course, with a smile, you drop the capacity on the table that eliminates their doubt of your ability to handle the responsibility that you have been given. There are places where you actually have to massage the ego of men. So you have to just make them feel comfortable working under you. You have to make them feel comfortable working with you as team partners. And it's been really, really a very tough one. There are situations where we've outrightly, as women, gone against policies, gone against push back by society, stereotypes that have said, oh no, we are not fit for purpose, we cannot be at leadership. I remember clearly situations where when I was the Director General and CEO of the Cross River State Primary Healthcare Development Agency, and I was asking for more inclusion of women health workers in our health workforce, and also the primary health care under one roof. And I was told at the meeting, look, you're a woman, you should not be talking like this. So they felt, look, for cultural reasons or or other reasons, you should not sound authoritative, you should not sound strong and firm, you should be able to shift grounds. But you have to put it direct to them that, look, for us to get this thing to work and work well, we're not competing, we're only saying that this is the right step to take. And I was happy that at the end of the day, they all came around back to the same table. Sometimes you have to go an extra mile to lobby them. I remember carrying different proposals to the executive council at the state level, and you have to go through one colleague after the other to explain the reason why it should be so, to explain why women should be protected, to explain why programs should be gender sensitive, if not they will be excluded, to explain why women are part of the vulnerables. These are things which we had to push on a day-to-day basis. It's been a tough one growing as a woman and a young woman in the political space in the entire environment. But I think one thing that has been very encouraging is that we've had very strong he for she's, and we've also had very strong she for she's. Women who support women, women who come all out to stand behind other women and push for their rights. And I believe the more women we have in the political space, the more women we have in Nigerian growth and development table decision-making positions, it will really help our country travel at the speed of light.